The Crown Jewel Oval versus the road course. Are you excited about that?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I was so disappointed when it left the Oval and went to the road course. I felt like we lost the crown jewel of our sport, and it's good to see it come back. I don't know what the race will be like, but I know that's the place to have it.
Do you know what you would be better at in your mind, like racing the road course or the oval? Do you think you can go back and
really think about what it'd be better? I just know what's best for our sport, and the oval is the answer.
Did you speak up about it? Did the drivers talk about it?
Not particularly. Not anything that comes to mind.
Mm-hmm. Say Pocono and Indy are very similar in terms of track style, at least in one of the terms of model now. So with the races being back-to-back weeks, do you see any advantage or anything that you can learn from one week into the next?
Yeah, I mean, definitely a lot of things carry over between the two tracks. Indy's a lot smoother than Pocono is, particularly to that corner. But the things you look for to have a fast race car, and the aero and the engine and the way you drive the car are the same.
Brad, a track that's very different than both of those is the Chicago Street Course. And, Trackhouse really set the bar last year with Project 91 with Shane Van Gisbergen, but Joey Hand really impressed this past Sunday. How do you feel about the development of the Stage 60 car and Hand's performance?
Yeah, Joey did great. He was everything we thought he'd be, just a consummate professional. Put us in position to have a great day and a shot to win. We haven't felt like we've had the cars to win, and Joey put us in a position where we were kind of almost in some ways able to push the program forward. I thought he ran an excellent race, and really proud of him.
And now 2 years into the Chicago street race, weather unfortunately a factor yet again, but what do you see about the long-term viability of street racing in Chicago and street racing in NASCAR in general?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I don't know about the economics of it with respect to NASCAR, but with the teams, of course, we see a lot of sponsorship interest, which is always great. It's kind of a fun venue to go to. Clearly, we need to race there earlier in the day. But outside of that, I think a lot of things to like about it.
Thanks, Brad.
Brad, at the road courses this season, we've seen you opt to go in Stage 2, take your stage points. You're still in that battle for the top 10. Obviously, you can flip track position this week and next week in Indianapolis. Yep. Are we going to expect much of the same, considering you're still tight in that points battle?
Yeah, I mean, we're somewhat tight in the points battle to get kind of the bonus points for the playoffs. But, ultimately, we want to win races too. And sometimes you got to make trade-offs to do that.
And to follow up with Eddie's question earlier, he asked about Joey Hand. Will we see more Joey moving forward at road courses?
I hope so. I mean, I'd really like to see him run the Roval in Charlotte. But in order for that to really be a reality for us, we got to find the sponsorship to do it.
Thank you.
So, Brad, now that you got the win at Darlington and locked into playoffs, has the last few months, like that stretch since, been different for you in terms of mentality of how you race and what you need to do to keep putting yourself in a better position?
Well, certainly a lot less pressure and a lot of focus on doing what we need to do to get Chris locked in the playoffs.
Thank you.
So, Brad, with the way the rain and the way Chicago ended, it was kind of more of a timed race than a lap race per se. It's almost like an IMSA type thing. Would you like to see NASCAR experiment more with a timed race type format, like maybe 3 hours of the Glen instead of 90 laps?
I like the accountability that comes with announcing a time for the race to end. I think that was a good win for our sport that puts it in a place where there's a lot of transparency. I like that for, obviously TV as well for the competitors. I thought that made a lot of sense. So I think that was a good step forward for us. I'm not sure it makes sense to have it as a, everyday scenario.
Right.
But I appreciate NASCAR's willingness to kind of continue to change and adapt to optimize the sport.
Also, looking back to the Brickyard again, you do have a win. You've kissed the bricks before back in 2018. I know, granted, different car with the Gen 6, but if there's anything there that you can apply to next week.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of similarities. Hopefully we'll show good speed here this weekend. I'm pretty optimistic, yes.
All right, thank you, Brad.
Do you have to start racing and looking like, okay, where's Ross Chastain, where's Ty Gibbs, the guys that you are kind of around at points, just to kind of see either what they're doing or either match their strategy or don't match their strategy depending on where your car is?
I wouldn't say that's how we're going to approach our races. We'll be aware, but I don't think it's going to. Their strategy's not going to dictate ours necessarily. I think what we'll do is the more beneficial side of it is somebody has an issue on the day, take note of that. Something's not going right. Know that. And we've had to do that once already, where you end up with everybody you're racing around has some bad luck, and it's about making sure you don't turn your decent day into a bad luck day as well. So you got to play some races smart in that sense, but no, I don't want it to dictate our strategy and what we're trying to do on the 17 team as far as going out and figuring out how to win a race right now.
Even depressing at all, see Logano and see Bowen, the guys that you're battling with for these spots win races in the last few weeks?
Yeah, it's been a wild few weeks for sure. Not just on who's winning these things, but the races themselves have been a little bit of chaos along the way. I think we expected it in Chicago, but I don't think we expected the chaos at Nashville, and that one's kind of caught us off guard a little bit. So again, it's about us controlling what we can control and trying to make our own destiny here. And we've seen it throughout the year. We've been very close. RFK as a whole has been very competitive, so we're good enough. We just have to put all the pieces in the right place and finish the deal.
The fact that you're now the guy in the bubble, Chris, does that make the near misses from May sting even more?
It's starting to. Yeah, we're going to, at the time it was, we'll move on, get to the next one. But yeah, you're certainly starting to look in the rear view a little bit and notice those. Again, I don't want that to be something that we're hanging on or getting too worried about, because we do need to focus on what's ahead of us. But yeah, that's there's some amount of reminiscing and thinking about what a difference one of those days could have made for us at this point right now. We got plenty of racing left to do yet, and some good tracks for us. So certainly not in any kind of panic mode here. Just looking at the races we got coming up, we got a lot of good chances. So got to do our best to put that as far back as we can, but. Obviously, it's being plastered everywhere right now, so can't quite escape it.
It was about this time of year last year when you guys really hit your stride. Do you feel like you're in a similar boat? Obviously, you guys had so much speed in the spring, but do you feel like you guys are close to getting back to where you need to be on these bigger tracks?
Honestly, we have been most of the year. It's not necessarily the momentum's changing for us on that side. I don't think it's really changing. We tried to make a point out of not letting this be our momentum build up this late in the season, and we did. We fired off the season way stronger than we were last year, and I'm very, very proud on that front of it, and to be have a couple runner-ups and then be in the hunt for wins. That was wow. And usually in Pocono, that's like a tornado warning or something. For us, I don't want to have to use to say that this is the time we're going to hit our momentum, but I do like the tracks that we're coming into, and obviously we have good notes from last season right now.
Yeah. Speaking of bizarre Pocono weather, you got your first win here back in 2016. So do you see that win as a potential way to just get you a win this weekend, thrust you into the playoffs? Does having a previous win here, do you think help, or just too far gone with the next gen car?
Yeah, we're way removed from 2016 at this point, and we're more competitive every week than we were back then. So I always feel good about where we're heading and the opportunity we have to break through here. So, but yeah, as far as looking back, there's nothing from that day that's going to help us tomorrow.
How much speed you have had this year? How surprised are you to even be in this position?
Really more surprised after the last couple of weeks. It's just there's been a couple of strange events, right, between Gateway and Nashville and Chicago. It's and there's one more in there that I'm missing, but there's been weeks where the races have just been
chaotic, and no amount of strategy set us up to be ready for chaos. And you know, sometimes having a fast race car can't do anything when the races just don't play out similar to what you would figure whatsoever. So you know, that's the way the world works, right? You can't predict everything, and we haven't been able to, and because of that, we just we're further behind right now than we wanted to be.
Chris, looking ahead 1 year, or 1 week ahead, I should say, real quickly, to the Brickyard 400, returning to the traditional oval configuration on the 30th anniversary of the first race. This is something that drivers and fans alike have really been calling for, and now they're getting it. So what are your feelings about going back to the oval at Indy?
I like the fact that we're headed back to the oval. I think that you know, I enjoyed the road course side of it too. I'm not ragging on that whatsoever. You know, I like road racing. I like to do it 4 or 5 times a year. I think we got up to like 7 at one point there. Yeah. That was too much. So I like going oval racing. You know, obviously at a historic venue like Indy. You know, I think that it might be a good eye opener for us as an industry to say, look, we're not locked into one configuration year over year. We might have the ability to change it up and you know, make it to where it's different for our fans from time to time. And was it 3 years on the road course that we were in?
Yes.
So to come back, it seems like we have a way of doing things in 3s around here. So you know, if that's something that starts to open up possibilities at different places, then perfect, right? You know, if that's something that we can be better for our sport, for our fans, I like it, and I'm excited to go back to the big track at Indy. It's been a long time.
So how important is it from a mental standpoint with the break coming up in 2 weeks to be above, either in the playoffs or be above the cut line, so you're not sitting around thinking 2 weeks, oh, I'm out of the playoffs, and have that kind of weigh on your mind a little bit?
You know, I think we need to keep up with what we got right now. Honestly, as our schedule goes, we need to take the 2 weeks and not get too hung up on it, no matter what. Need a little bit of a reset, and just to calm down and be ready to get back at it. So I won't say that it's any more important because of the break. Ultimately, it's just important because every week we need to be building that correct direction. You know, we've been very consistent over the past several weeks and been in a good spot. I haven't been able to get a win or be quite close enough to, but you know, really, it's we need to take what we've been doing, keep it up for 2 more weeks, and take that break for what it is, and break away, and try not to get hung up on the stresses of what we got coming at us right after we get back at it.
To that point,
Jared Haas with Frontstretch.com. Come back soon for more great racing videos. And if you like us, make sure to hit that subscribe button.